What is happening there, Reject Nation? We are back with the most 100% positively received Star Wars show to have ever existed. Obi-Wan Episode 4. Again, joined by our Star Wars expert, Ace of Spades. Ace, tell me, are you excited to see Quinlan Vos, Qui-Gon Jinn, Asajj Ventress,
Mace Windu. He's back.
Dash Rendar.
The ghost of Sith Lord Count Dooku. Alright guys, well you know what to do. Use the Force to leave a like. Yep. It requires a lot of work. Do that Chris Pratt Jurassic World hand. Also, subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when our next reaction is up here on the channel. Full-length watch-alongs we sync up with the time code available for Super Sexy Rejects over at our Patreon page. Thank you to the boys at Prepper for helping us edit this down. And also, check out Ace's YouTube channel, Final Cut Pro, or...
First Cut Final Cut.
Great tutorials.
Great tutorial program. You're doing a good job there, man. I definitely watch it every day. All right, let's get to it.
Ooh. Ooh.
One of them should just be George Lucas's face.
Those were a couple new droids in there.
Spock!
Live long and Jedi.
Ben, stay with me. You're gonna be okay. Get the back to tank ready.
Yeah.
Back to take.
Flashbacks?
Flashback.
Back in time. Whoa.
Nice parallel.
I hear the Vader voice. Cool. Oh my god. This is a terrible sensory deprivation take experience.
You're still not healed. Your burns, your body, they just need time. We're on your beam. You're safe now.
Where's Leia?
Meanwhile,
It's kind of like when Finn was like, where's Rey in The Last Jedi?
The Empire doesn't take kindly to Jedi sympathizers.
He will come for me.
Oh, Obi-Wan is dead. Nobody's coming for you.
Broken?
He shouldn't be here.
Oh, there he is.
Is that O'Shea?
Yeah.
I need your help to get her back.
General, I'm sorry, but that's not my problem.
You've no idea what the Empire is capable of.
Look, if you want my help, you got it.
Huh.
super easy.
He
Barely
changed his mind
convinced.
really fast.
Well, we need to find a way inside.
Oh, we're not soldiers. Those speeders are for hauling sewage.
She's 10 years old. I won't leave her there. I'll go on my own.
You can barely stand. You're not getting in there.
I'll go with him. Well, I have officer clearance. I can get you inside.
Dead. You think people in Star Wars take space travel for granted?
God, Lightspeed is taking so long to do.
Oh look, he's forcing it. You can't force the Force, man.
Past is a hard thing to forget, and you just need time, that's all.
Some things can't be forgotten.
You care about Leia, then you're gonna have to try. We're almost there.
You're gonna have to get in shape real quick, man.
Workout montage.
Yeah, seriously. Force workout.
Safe house, like the one you were in, has been found in 2 systems. I need to find out where they are, Leia. And I think you know.
How did he die?
He burned to death on Mapusa.
Bring me his body.
If you tell me where the path is, you can go home to your family.
I don't know anything about a path.
Well, let's think a little bit harder, shall we?
It's that attitude that gets Alderaan blown up, Leia. Beautiful ass shot.
They're like bats.
That's beautiful.
Damn. Just gonna walk right through the front door.
Identification. No admittance without clearance.
I have Officer Class C.
Now, please.
That's a huge cameo.
This isn't your sector. I can't let you through.
And I'm your commanding officer, and you will address me as sir.
Yes, sir, of course, but
I'm here with classified intelligence. Do you know what classified means?
yes, sir, of course.
You're not Domhnall Gleeson.
General sucks.
Hux's dad.
All right, I'm inside the system. Here we go.
Ah,
Cool.
this is old school.
Very old school.
Phantom Menace style.
Phantom Menace. Gangnam style.
Gungans.
You should be right ahead of you.
This is so cool.
Sounds like a video game level.
They watched Jedi Fallen Order and
Yeah.
let's do that.
Eh?
What did he do?
Just threw him in the water.
I'm in.
Dang, bro.
And I didn't get that guy's disguise.
Yeah, should have. Uh-oh. She's gonna
This is
resist.
their contest.
You've practiced our clemency, Harry.
The braver you seem, the more afraid you are. I learned that at a very young age as well.
Don't.
Don't you do it.
God, look at this place. What are they keeping down there?
It's just hundreds of Snokes.
Looks like they're everywhere. Only
Jesus.
This isn't your station. Come with me.
Damn.
This is the VIP lounge.
We need more people with your initiative. Oh, wowie. Huh.
Ben.
Oh, damn it.
They couldn't see Obi-Wan sneak up there, but they could hear that.
Ha!
Over there. Let's go.
Well done, diversion.
We're all on the same side here. These people, they'll leave you to die.
I'll tell you where they are. I just don't want anyone to get hurt.
I give you my word.
Excellent.
I'll have to tell my father first. That's okay, right? You said we're all on the same side.
Nice try, princess.
I'll never tell you where they
Then
are.
it's time to make those tears real.
Inquisiting is hard.
Where are you?
I think I just found the secure sector.
I feel like there's a twist coming with Reva.
Let go!
Oh.
Let go! Help! Somebody help! Help me, please!
Oh.
Help! Somebody help, please!
Hello there.
Oh, shoot.
Yo!
Hey.
Did you see?
Ben, what is it?
Is that Quinlan?
Yeah.
Place isn't a fortress.
Not that one.
It's a
It's a
prison.
tomb.
Or a tomb. Oh.
Tala, I need a distraction.
Why? What's happened?
Just do it now.
Was that the youngling at the beginning of the show?
Look kind of like.
You did this to yourself.
What are you doing to me? Please! Help! Help! Somebody help!
Game over.
I was told it cannot wait.
Yikes.
Oh, that's one hell of a distraction.
Yeah, seriously. I need to talk to you.
I was stationed on Mapusa when the hunt began. The network runs out of the Sertar sector. I found evidence before the escape.
Impressive. Unless, of course, you're lying.
Nice.
Stand where you are.
Bet you wish I was in that built-in sunglasses now.
What does not make sense is how an old man and a little girl escaped an Imperial checkpoint on your planet. Admit you're a spy!
Of course I am. When Kenobi came, they panicked, and I got inside.
You expect me to believe this?
Look, I couldn't tell anybody. If they found out, I would have been killed. He's on Florum.
Please don't get caught, Obi. I want her to live.
Take her to interrogation. If the debriefing confirms it, then...
It's him.
Tala, we're in the open.
It's the first time that gun's ever hit a target.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Leia.
Slowly getting your groove back, man.
I wanted to be at peak level so bad. He could take down like so many.
Yikes!
Oh my god. I got nipple chills.
Oh, my dude.
That's a good trick.
Get her out of here. I'll hold it.
Wait for it. Wait. Oh, dick move. You know he's keeping you guys alive right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This won't hold for long. Put this on.
What a great shot.
That's a great shot.
Oh.
He's keeping her at his side.
Third sister will suffer for this.
There's gonna be so much inquisiting happening.
Who's there?
Stop. How are you gonna stick it to the R-rated movie if you keep doing that?
So close. Just keep going.
No.
Betraying everything you are.
Oh
This was
god.
never who I was.
Then you die.
Ooh,
For nothing.
you can take him.
Come on.
Do some shit, Obi.
Oh, snap.
Oh, great.
Whoa, dang.
Wait!
I got you, Sully. Just go.
Destroy them!
Right behind you.
The subtle use of the Vader breath and all these sound mixes.
Oh, shit.
You were born.
Oh my god.
I put a tracker on the ship. Where he goes, it will follow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's really sweet. Take her to live with Luke.
Reva.
Oh no.
Of course, yeah.
It's evil now.
Evil Reva. Did you like it more than The Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, short, man. It was quick. Right?
It's a smooth half hour, yeah.
Yeah, it felt really quick.
Is that a problem?
No. I don't think so.
John?
I mean, I could think of a couple moments I might have put a little more time into suspense building for, but overall, I don't think it hurts the episode too much.
Guys, you know what gets the clicks is the outrage.
I mean, Reva was in this episode again! Ugh! Can't handle it.
I need the outrage. You guys are letting me down. So Hayden Christensen was in the back of the tank, I'm assuming? Yeah. Right.
And I think they use aspects of his voice for Vader and then maybe match some of the voice matching software that is doing James Earl Jones's voice to that.
Oh, fascinating.
This is a theory, but
kind of like when they had a different actor for Vader in the first Star Wars movie. And then they said, nah, let's use James Earl Jones.
Forget this doughy white guy.
Well, I think they're using someone pointed out they're using the re-speecher technology.
Yeah, the same stuff that they did Luke with. So
yes,
I almost wonder if they have Hayden Christensen do the lines and for the cadence and for the rhythm.
That's a good point.
And then they go back and they put James Earl Jones with references from all of his performances over top of that or something. Or...
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Because like not so much this episode, but one of the previous ones, there were moments where I was like, I feel like they're almost fading the two voices together.
Right.
Moments or something, but
it's true. All right. Well, hey, let's
talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's taco about it.
Everyone loved this episode. All right, Cool in the Gang. We are here to talk about this episode now. You know the drill. Yeah, you know, I got some. You got to take these shows, especially this one. The way that these episodes start and stop feels so much like I kind of wish this was a binge show because of the way the rhythm of how these episodes start and stop. Because it seems like you're supposed to take it in as one whole package and not as an episode by episode case, especially when it's one of those shows where the same director of every single episode. So because I do have some things there's a lot I really like about this show, and some things I really do love, and then there's other parts where I'm like, I guess I'll wait to see the final episode before I lay down the law of opinions up in here, because my opinion holds the most highest of authorities. But we'll focus on the episode in and of itself. I'm just here to tease my outrage. Wokeness. Right, Ace? Right, man?
Yeah, Ace.
Yeah, Ace.
Wokeness, right?
No, not at all.
Woke Army.
God damn.
Obi-Wan going through a fortress. Wokeness.
Obi woke.
They
Fighting stormtroopers. Wokeness. No.
Obi-Wan
All
Kenobi.
stormtroopers are white. I'm just saying.
Obi-Wan a little weak. That must mean it's woke because Reva's strong. Anyway, we'll stop acknowledging them for now. Who went? John, you go first this time.
Hi.
What did you think about this episode? Tell the world why you thought it was perfect on every account.
Oh, just nothing could be better about this episode. I thought this was a decent episode, and I absolutely agree with what you just said about it feeling as though it's the other previous episodes up until this point have felt a bit more well-rounded. This is the shortest of them so far, and I feel like we say this about Disney Plus shows so often, is I feel like they could have taken a little bit of that extra time that we're accustomed to and maybe added it back in to flesh out some of the real peril, especially as it pertains to Obi-Wan getting the job done. That was the thing where I was like, oh, he did it.
Can I interrupt really quick? I have a theory as to why this episode was so short and why some things felt like they were cut down abruptly. Does anyone want to guess what my theory is? Because I feel like we can guess it in this room.
I mean,
want
Reva's a Jedi sympathizer.
They want people to also watch Miss Marvel tonight.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
if they wanted people to watch Miss Marvel, they wouldn't put it in the same
you
night.
You think?
Yeah.
I think that's an easier way to do that instead of making Obi-Wan shorter.
You think?
Well, but we also live in a world where most people can just watch one and then the other at midnight if they
So
really
they're
care,
like-
and they're not going to be in a studio shooting.
It's a conspiracy theory, Ace.
I don't know about that. I feel like it's so easy to put. Why can't they just put Miss Marvel Thursday nights?
Because, man, Thursday's a different day.
It is. It takes
They're
a
like,
lot.
We have to have competition.
It takes a lot of resources and
healthy.
infrastructure to upload a video file and then set it to public.
If we don't compete with ourselves, someone else is going to compete with us.
Well, we can't. The boys have Fridays, so I don't know.
They're like, if they binge Stranger Things, then they're gonna binge Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan.
All right, John, sorry to interrupt. I just had my conspiracy theory that Ace agrees with.
All I could think of in this episode was Miss Marvel. I mean, it was really cool to see just the whole breadth of Ace. I will consult your knowledge. It's the Imperator...
Inquisitorship.
The Inquisitors...
Inquisitor Fortress.
Stately Inquisitor Manor.
Fortress Inquisitorius.
The Fortress Inquisitorius. There we go. It was very cool. It was very cool to be inside there and to be on a sneaking mission and, you know, to have these close calls. I really think my favorite part of this episode was the back and forth between Reva and Leia. I thought that was really good. And everything else was like cool in a video game-esque kind of way. But it just mainly left me wanting in the sense that, like, I want to really feel the tension. I don't want to be distracted by my number one pet peeve in shows and movies where people are, like, talking next to people who are going to hear and discover them, but for some reason their voices don't carry. I don't know. There were just little things that hampered the suspense for me. It was like a really cool, well-produced episode, but yeah.
I have some thoughts on the tension and suspense of why I think overall in the show it's sort of been lacking. But again, only teasing the outrage right now.
Damn.
Real outrage.
Real reject outrage.
Disney, why do you Disney? Ace, what are your thoughts on this episode, my friend?
I enjoyed it, man. It's definitely an isolated, shorter episode. I definitely agree with what you're saying, though. It definitely felt like I could kind of just keep watching the next one. It felt more like a in-between episode. Kind of bridging probably the first half and the second half of the season. And I felt like this was kind of just like the rescue Leia. We know she's going to get rescued, but this is how it happens. Let's do a quick 30-minute episode on how it happens. So I did feel like it's definitely kind of like that bridge in between one that you can kind of quickly go through if you were in the binge model doing that. So... yeah, but I definitely like what you were saying, John, as far as the set design is so cool.
Absolutely.
It's so freaking cool. Like seeing her being underwater, seeing Obi-Wan swim underwater. The lighting was really cool. Like all that stuff just works really freaking well. And I feel like that's a big plus. Seeing Obi-Wan take down stormtroopers was cool.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah. Seeing Obi-Wan take down stormtroopers was cool to me. That's something we haven't seen in a minute.
When their torture chair was legitimately kind of horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that was
the scariest part of the episode.
It was a little jarring to see a little girl scream in a torture chamber. That is definitely that was a lot. I mean,
so that probe droid in A New Hope, that was nothing.
I mean, there's various interrogation droids throughout Star Wars, and yeah,
I'm just saying, like, Leia's come face to face
Name
with this as a
all
little
of
girl.
the ITO interrogator droid. Yeah,
I think the biggest issue I have with this show so far, is because, like, I agree with what you guys are saying is cool. It all is cool, and as a big
Very cool.
very cool. That's a Red Letter Media reference.
Wow.
You were doing pitch meeting. I was doing Red Letter Media.
I like movies.
So, like, yeah, because like going through the Inquisitor Fortress is awesome. I especially after playing Jedi Fallen Order, like that felt so much. Oh, the game! Look at it. It's working on the feelings I have from the game. It was nice to see that. And I did like Reva's scenes a lot in here. The actors who play, you gotta, it's child actors. I find it really mean if you rip into a child actor. And I know some people who have done it when it comes to the Leia actress. And I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's bad. There are some times where like, but you're a child actor. Like, what am I gonna tell you? Like, it's as much. I expect less of you to be like so real in a certain scene. But there are times where she does feel very real. Sometimes when she sounds like authoritative is when I have a hard time believing her specifically. But for the most part, I think she does a great job. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. I think she does a really good job. And I do think the back and forth between them was nice. It was kind of like a different flipperoo from Grand Moff Tarkin and Grogu, where, like, her bad, not Sith, but sort of Sith, interrogating important child.
I mean, Gideon?
Moff Gideon?
Moff Gideon.
Who did I say?
Grand Moff Tarkin?
Oh, my bad.
Peter Cushing back again from the grave.
Literally, when you were saying that, I was like, what did I do
like,
wrong here?
I was like, good pull, but wait, I don't remember that.
No, yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, guys.
Grogu Adventures.
Moff Gideon. I'm sorry. They kind of sound a little bit similar in some way. Now I'm going to get crap for saying that.
Dryden Voss!
The letters are so different, Greg. I was thinking of Mandalorian season 2. Yeah, it was kind of making me think of that. We're not really Sith, but can do sort of Sith stuff. Whatever. You don't get it. Yeah, I like that. I think the biggest issue I have with this show right now is this. I like, because I'm kind of back and forth with it. I find that so warm with the whole scene with like Leia holding Obi-Wan's hand and Obi-Wan feeling kind of directionless in his life. Like, I've just been here on Tatooine watching this boy, and I don't know if I'm contributing to this at all. And now to see this effect he's had on Leia and showing how necessary he was to be there for her, and the bond is such a great part of this episode. At times, though, the focus of this show, of it being Obi-Wan and Leia, and then trying to amid all this suspense and danger, I have a hard time buying into it because it's such a central focus of the show, and I don't feel the fear of it because I'm like, well, obviously Leia's gonna be fine. It's such an obvious thing, whereas I'll feel the concern and worry for character whose name I'm not currently remembering. Who is it Tala? Reva. I'm so worried Reva's gonna die. No, Tala. Yeah, I'll feel concerned for Tala in those scenes, and that's why like Mandalorian works so well, because these are new characters. We don't know the path they're on, and so I like it. Here's how I would describe it. I feel like I would actually appreciate a lot of the story more if I picked up a book and I read it and like, oh, it's kind of cool to learn the backstory of this. But in terms of a suspenseful show, especially a show that's trying to be so suspenseful and so intense, and not really do much character exploration in between like a lot of intimate character moment scenes.
It lacks a lived-in quality.
Yes, so that's a big part of what's missing for me here. Is like I like the concept and I like the idea, and there are parts about it I really do enjoy. But when it comes to building like actual tension out of it, I'm like, nah, I don't really feel it. And especially for an episode like this, it's supposed to be like pulse pounding, but thrusting you right into the action. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of just watching it though.
I mean, I feel like the tension they were trying to build up was more about the safety of Leia, if that makes sense, more than necessarily her dying or being captured forever. Like, I think that the scene where she's about to get tortured, I did feel the tension, because I definitely felt like, oh crap, this Leia, you know.
That's weird. I didn't feel it at all.
Really?
I was like, nothing's gonna happen.
Like,
I'm in between you. I'm like, this is the most tense I feel during this episode, but it is a short-lived moment, and I feel like they maybe were afraid to go too heavily into child in peril torture device sequence.
It was so obvious something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like they could probably go there because they hinted at going there in A New Hope, and obviously they've hinted at going there in various other media when different people are being tortured. So I did feel that tension. I also feel like a lot of it too has to do with more of the prequel ideology, if that makes sense, where it's more about not necessarily like, oh, well, we know Anakin's not going to die in this episode. Like, we all know that, and we all know that Obi-Wan is going to be fine in all those other movies, but we still feel some sort of tension. That's why Solo worked for me as well, Solo Star Wars story.
Never
even
again.
Though there was moments where you were like, oh, this is crazy, but we know they're going to survive, you still felt it because of the characters that were involved and because the way it was shot, produced, edited, all that kind of stuff. So I think it works. I think it works for what they're trying to tell. I just feel like this episode itself was so quick and to the point and short that there might not be enough to chew on necessarily.
Fair enough. I mean, like I don't agree with this, because there are some people who just write off the concept of a prequel in totality of it, of what I just, of the stuff I was expressing. It's like there's a difference between something like X-Men Origins Wolverine and something like X-Men First Class to me. Like X-Men First Class I think is so effective and one of the best X-Men movies, and that's such a prequel, and you know it's going to head down a path where like Charles and Eric are probably not going to be friends with it, you know. And Revenge of the Sith I think is a great film. I love that movie, but there's something about the intimate details that feels I that's the hard part about explaining. I have a hard time to differentiate how to explain it, because I guess it just comes down to a subjective feeling on the matter, you know. Sure. I can't convince you to feel a certain way, and you can't convince
but
me.
I feel like a lot of that has to do with the season versus the episode, right? Where the season might give you what you're asking for, but this episode specifically maybe didn't give you that, but maybe that's not necessarily what the episode was going for.
I've never really felt it for any of the episodes with Leia of like, oh no, Leia, you're in danger. Yeah.
Well, I think the tricky thing about prequels is often that you're both further along in time, so you have better technology and you have the foregone conclusions. And I think the way that it's going to come right back to this, is the way that you temper that is to really invest us in the personal stakes of the characters in the moment, so that it doesn't matter if you know the outcome, because you know how hard these trials are going to be. And again, it's that lived-in quality. It's like they've given it to us in little fits and bursts, and I think all the actors are killing it for the most part. I think you can tell the homework is there, and I feel like this show, more than any other show perhaps in the Star Wars universe pitched thus far, like we did so much of like Boba Fett, of just like looking at his past, and he's with the Tuskens, and it's very sort of poetically shot, and it's not really dialogue heavy. And I'm like, you could do stuff like that here with Obi-Wan and really get into his psyche, because this is your opportunity to do better what they did or at least more agreeably for everybody, what they tried to do with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. You know, it's like this is a different version of Obi-Wan than the pinnacles that we know him from. Let's dive into that state of being. And it's there in his performance, but I don't feel like it's much there in the writing. Yeah. It's very action-oriented. It's very straightforward action-oriented.
These past couple episodes have been like that quite a bit. Ace, why are we wrong?
I mean, I think the focus, I feel like a lot of people might be, maybe it is because she's a little girl and because it's Leia and because it's such an iconic character, but the focus is still on Obi-Wan. And I still feel like everything we got from Obi-Wan in every single episode so far has been killer. Like, has been really freaking good. Whether it is the acting, whether it is the backstory, whether it is even the action, kind of the build up to him getting in shape. But I think that's kind of a cool little way of like slowly but surely building his way up to fighting shape. I think that's something we haven't really seen in Star Wars before. And it's something that is really clever the way they build it into the show. It's not necessarily, you know, is Obi-Wan going to get out of the situation? It's how is he going to get out of the situation? It's how he's going to overcome the stormtroopers. It's how many stormtroopers he's going to take out. Is he going to use the Force to take them out? Is he going to use this to take them out? Like, I think that's a clever way to get us invested into the action, is to show us his build-up into the Force and using the Force
1,000%
as a way to fight off these stormtroopers. Is he going to go ham and just take down like 40? Like, all that kind of stuff to me is a really cool way for Deborah Chow to kind of showcase where Obi-Wan is at in his journey.
Yeah, I like the last half of this episode a lot. The last half is what really got me that's when I was feeling it. Especially when he did start using his lightsaber and started using the Force, because I do like the story concept of, you know, it's kind of a typical action story just with the Star Wars backdrop of, you know, traumatized action hero is retired and then he's pulled back out of retirement to save little girl. It's a very,
he's got a big beard.
It's Logan. It's a billion other action movies. It's a bunch of action movies, and now we're doing it with the Jedi way, and you're watching him slowly get back in tune with the Force. And I really like that whole scene, you know, especially when he is holding the water and you get to see Leia really witness him being like, this guy really cares about me. he's really protecting me right now. He's a real Jedi, you know, and it's giving her something to believe in too, in terms of this rise of the rebellion and whatnot. I really appreciate those nuances and those details, and I guess I find myself more often craving the way I'm receptive to that. I find myself craving more of that feeling more with this show, and I think that's kind of what starts to lack for me. And I had a question about Vader. What's his deal in this exactly? Because there was a lot of people who were bitching about it, and I was like, I'm sure he's got a motive for it. A lot of people bitched about how he like wanted Obi-Wan to suffer or something with the fire, right? And then they watched him get away, and he didn't like put the fire out or try to get Vader or try to get Obi-Wan back in the last episode. And it seemed like he was around here at the fortress. Then after all the shit goes down, he just comes storming and be like, Obi-Wan gone? What? You know, and so I don't quite, I feel like they'll eventually fully reveal it to us, but I'm not quite getting what they're doing with Vader.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said that he was in Mustafar and he wasn't he wasn't in the fortress, that he was in his castle.
That's right. You're right about that. You're right.
They did say that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So he wasn't there, and I feel like that's like a trope too with Vader, is that he's never really there.
So late.
No, like I really think that's an actual trope. Whether it's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I think that's something that's a really.
That's why you're the expert, to remember details that we just learned 20 minutes ago.
It's a way to feature other characters, especially the Inquisitors and Reva, and to not rely too heavily on Vader just being like monologuing, like to make it more about Obi-Wan's journey and to make Vader kind of the final threat or the final boss at the end, versus just having him show up everywhere and chase him down and stuff. I think to me that's a better way of showcasing Vader is in small bits and pieces rather than him just kind of running after Obi-Wan.
I think though that the way how Disney marketed this show is working against it in a lot of ways.
You think they marketed Vader a lot? Because
what? That was like the big hype about this.
I don't know. He was in the trailer, but he wasn't like.
No, not. I mean, yeah, and
I feel like the Inquisitors were in the trailer more than Vader was.
Definitely, but when this show was announced,
sure.
You know, like, you're way more of an extreme Star Wars fan than John and I.
Yeah.
But, we stay plugged in, though, to what people are talking about. Yeah. And even the first sizzle reel for this.
Sure.
The first actual look at this shit. You know, and then, like, the promotions are all, like, Hayden Christensen and Darth Vader. And then the sizzle reel was, like, they're going to battle it out again. And we're going to
justice
that.
for Hayden Christensen.
There's so much about that. And I think that I think they did create an expectation in one's mind, because nothing is more intriguing. I don't think anything with Reva or any of the Inquisitors is more intriguing than exploring more of that and the depths of that. Like, the third episode is, like, the best for many people for a reason. And I think that I like all this other stuff. I mean, the Inquisitors or whatever to me. I like all this other stuff for the most part, but I do get a little bit like, I wonder if, like, the last episode is just going to be so Anakin Obi-Wan heavy, you know? And I imagine that's where they're going. And I don't want to be the guy who's, like, bitching about something when I know that's probably going to happen later on. It's just, will we get there smoothly? And I don't know how you felt about Book of Boba Fett. I really didn't like the final episode. I was really let down by it. And I don't want it to be another Disney Plus mess where, it's going good, it's going great. But man, they dropped the ball in the finale.
I definitely feel you on that, especially with Marvel shows for me, where Marvel shows tend to...
Hey, we're talking about Star Wars.
True, but still...
You leave Marvel out of this.
You said Disney
Keep
Plus.
Marvel's name out your
this.
mouth.
I said Disney Plus. Did I say Marvel? Huh?
I'm so sorry, Kevin.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if you're watching this.
Mr. Feige.
Please don't.
He will not be on any Marvel.
No.
There's a reason.
Or
we
your
don't
Star
have
Wars
them on
movie.
Any Marvel shows. No, but I do feel like I know what you mean as far as, like, the finale being a little bit too much versus trying to focus on the...
Like, we got to wrap this shit up.
Yeah. On the story. Yeah, to me... I don't know, because I don't really... When it comes to marketing, it's difficult, because you do want to have... When you have an actor like Hayden Christensen come back for a role, whether it be a small part in the role, whether it be a huge part in the role, I think you have to feature him in marketing as far as in press and in stuff like that, because it's a way to give credence to an actor that has been a part of Star Wars for such a long time. To be completely honest, I think me and a few other people out there, I think as far as Star Wars YouTube channel, Star Wars Explained, for example, didn't have those high expectations when it came to Hayden Christensen, because we kind of were like, okay, they're featuring him a lot in marketing. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get flashbacks of Hayden. We're going to get Vader a bunch of times out of the suit. Like, we kind of expected very little, because we know that at this point in his life, Anakin is Vader. So the very few times we will see Hayden is going to be few and far between. So I feel like that was more of just like a shout out, a credence, a appreciation for Hayden, more than it was like, oh, he's going to be in every episode and he's going to be featured and we're going to get a backstory and we're going to get flashback. Like, I didn't feel that when it came to the marketing. I just felt like this is Hayden Christensen. He's worthy of being recognized as Anakin and Vader.
I just keep wondering what the emotional direction of the show is going for with Obi-Wan too. Like, how is this guy gonna arc into the Obi-Wan who's like, all right, so I'm going back to Tatooine. I'm just going to hang out here for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll figure that out though. I still feel like we have time.
Chill.
It's an hour and a half of this left, Ace.
Come on, Ace.
Maybe an hour and 45 minutes
man.
if the last one's long.
We talked about the outrage.
It's difficult for me to prejudge something when it's not finished.
No, that's why I love you. Because
it's way too reasonable.
That's very true, man. That's very true.
It's a little
that's
too
very
hard
true.
for me to be like, yo, Obi-Wan rescued Leia, swam underwater. This show sucks. Like, for me, it's like,
I'm not saying that.
Let's
other people.
No, but I'm saying, like, I think we still have a story to tell. I feel like a story isn't just one journey. A story is a sections and factions of little adventures. How do we get to where we are? What happens as far as along the journey to get there?
True, and I'm just saying, I guess for me, I don't know how you feel. It's like the journey for me has been a little emotionally hit and miss for me. To like cool information to, oh, I'm actually really invested in this. And every episode is kind of episode 3 I was really invested in for the most part. But the other ones I'm kind of like really weaving in and out of, I'm just kind of gathering information versus I'm really feeling this moment. And that's why I would not write this show off.
No, I think especially with this show, there's something fair to be said for the idea that it is being billed heavily as a limited series. So in that sense, I'm like, yes, benefit of the doubt. Let's see how the whole thing looks at the end. However, I would say we are now 4 episodes in out of 6, and I feel like for my experience there, to be satisfied at this point, I feel like there's got to be a lot of emotional legwork to do in the last 2 episodes, because the show has felt very, again, straightforward and plot-oriented, and looking at even the core, sort of relationship and distance between Obi-Wan and Anakin, Vader, even that, like Vader shows up and is really scary for moments. But I feel like, most of what I know about what that story's development is thus far is Vader's pretty upset and traumatized over the last time he saw Obi-Wan, so he kind of wants to get him and probably hurt him.
I guess the emotional meat is there. It's just not taking center stage for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, it's a lot to do with this episode. I feel like this episode was very much like...
You think it's all about this one episode?
No, I'm saying the
Fight me, Ace.
The meat of this episode was so thin that it's just a little bit difficult to kind of like feel it in this episode. And I agree with you guys when it comes to like really having something to chew on and the emotional stakes in this episode, because there wasn't a lot there, unless you were, like you said, John, a fan of that Leia and Reva interaction. But other than that, that was kind of it. The rest of the episode was much more of like, how do we go from point A to point B, which is probably a detriment to the episode. But again, like you said, John, I feel like when it comes to the complete package of it, I don't know. I think a lot of it too has to do with perhaps the way we view different shows nowadays.
Sure.
I just binged Stranger Things. I think if I saw like episode 3 or episode 2 by itself, I probably wouldn't be that invested, if I'm being honest. But seeing like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, it made me feel a little bit more hooked. It made me feel a little bit more connected to where the story was going. And even then, it still very much felt like half a story, which again, it's part 1. But I feel like that's just the way we're viewing different episodes and shows now. It's like we're taking bits and pieces of a story versus the entire story.
The way you feel about Stranger Things is how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Got you.
I would agree with that.
Because I feel like, I don't know, man. I still feel like, if I'm being real, I think I got more in these 3 episodes than I did probably in the first 3 of Stranger Things.
I think Ace isn't coming back for
Ace, it's been nice to know you.
Vecna is out to get me.
See, those I was
going
like,
to the upside down.
That show, I was like, put that thing week to week.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm wondering, maybe this would, like you said earlier, maybe this would make a better binge.
Interesting, yeah.
You know?
I didn't feel that way.
Especially with an episode like this. It makes me really feel like this might have been better if I watched... This episode might have been better if I just watched it immediately after. But even then, it's like this... I don't know. There's something about... This one was... It also did feel really rushed. It's like you meet O'Shea Jackson, who's like, no, I'm not helping you. 5 seconds later, all right, I talked myself into it about remembering why I'm doing this in the first place. You know?
That was just for me, guys.
Yeah. I'm like, and then these people die at the end. And to be honest, or that guy, that Wade guy dies at the end. Yeah. And I don't give a shit. Like I'm like, honestly, dude, I don't even remember you from 5 minutes ago. Like, I don't remember who you are.
And we walk around inside of a Jedi tomb trophy room, you know, which is
that's what and I think I don't want to say the word milk it.
Live in
it. Yeah, like live in it, or do some of that like Hollywood romanticizing or some bullshit terminology of like let's like Obi-Wan fighting the stormtroopers and using his powers, like you're watching him get his powers back, like really make a strong emotional moment out of that. Yeah. You know, more like that might just be the way it's edited or the way it breathes sometimes of like the scene when Leia holds his hand, that took its time and that hit. And they could have done that with so many more moments in this one episode that if you're not going to do like a bunch of dialogue exchanges to uncover character background, at least really let those moments hit.
I agree. I feel like
oh my god, Ace finally agreed with something.
Welcome.
This whole time I've been sweating my ass off.
I disagree.
Like
I've changed my mind.
Yeah, we're so close.
Dude, you know Star Wars so much better than us. He's not agreeing with me at all.
I just feel like every criticism you have is valid, but I don't feel like that's necessarily a criticism of the show more than it is a criticism of this episode. This episode did feel like it was rushed. It did feel like it didn't have as much meat to it. It did feel like it didn't have as much emotional stakes to it. But I feel like that's more a detriment to a standalone episode more than it is a detriment to the entire shows in general.
Amen.
I hope you are correct.
Yeah.
Well, guys, do you prefer this or Stranger Things 4?
I prefer this.
Wow, really?
How about the boys? Anybody? No.
I don't see the boys. I don't watch the boys.
Wow.
Thanks for not helping that.
Go watch
those
Miss Marvel.
reactions.
Go watch Miss playing right now.
Disney Plus. Everything's out.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, leave your thoughts down below. That's good open discussion.
This was a nice discussion, guys. We did it.
I'm a tad harsher. Ace is a lot more happy. You're like kind of in between.
That's right. I'm the gray Jedi that we don't talk
Gray
about.
Jedi.
It's not canon, I guess, but maybe.
I'm the Jedi who's like, fucking Jedi Council, I swear, push me to the goddamn dark side. I'm that Jedi.
You Mace Windu over
Anakin Skywalker.
That is Anakin Skywalker.
Or Anakin Skywalker.
There's a lot of them out there, man. All right.
Jedis can be repressed a bit.
Follow
Jedi.
Do you think we'll see Quinlan Vos?
I mean, that kind of looked like Quinlan Vos in that.
If it
Jedi
is,
2.
and okay, I'm sorry to say this. If it is Quinlan Vos, and they didn't make a moment out of it, this show's bullshit. And that's not just because, oh my god, he was in Clone Wars and you're ruining. No, they had a whole moment in the last episode when he's like,
Yeah.
Quinlan was here. Oh my. You know?
But I'm not going to spend any time with his corpse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even acknowledge. But even but that scene too would have just really hit. Of just
That could have been a big
that should have been like the
scene
most
for him.
triggering moment for him. Should have been that moment.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, seeing that youngling was it was quick, but it was still like, oh, we should have lingered on this a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Why? How'd they embalm them like that? Whose idea was
Sure.
it to be like, put the hat back on that youngling?
They saw Jurassic Park and they were like, let's get us some amber and
We
let's
gotta
freeze
decorate
some
him.
moments in time.
Do you like his outfit? I think we should change it.
Like how
No, probably though. Like that's how sick they are. Is they probably do like
it's like a museum.
they primp them. Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta get one of those.
Yeah, we need a tomb hallway.
Promise me when I die, Ace.
Ooh.
I have one of those in your home.
Yeah.
Me.
But make sure
With the
it's
hat.
like
We gotta pose you the right way. though.
Yeah.
I want to be one of the hard to reach corpses on the
Yeah.
second level that you can't really sit and admire.
It
Yeah.
reminded me of the scene in Young Justice where they have him in stasis. I think it's Despero, where or Mongo. It might be Mongo, where they keep him.
Don't
in
mess
trophies.
this up, man.
You got
Big
two
Young
But
Justice
it's very similar. Like if I show you guys an image, you guys will be like, "Oh, they could have taken it from that," because it looks very similar.
Well, dude,
So-
Star Wars is all about Easter eggs and references now. That's all that matters. As long as you do that, you're hitting the.
They're going to start referencing other IPs now. Star Wars is going to get really.
Have you seen Young Justice?
Somehow, the longest video of ours is the shortest episode of Star Wars.
We had to make up for lost time.
35 minutes. Like, what the hell? Did they just? They're going to think we just inserted the whole episode here. All right, guys. This video is truly done. But before that, let's do a Patreon. Andrew Hayes. So Andrew, hey, something about Andrew Hayes. You probably get along with this guy pretty well. He's been like one of our patrons for the longest time. Years, man. Years. Short, stocky fella. Kind of talks like this. And he's a freaking, he's like adorable but intimidating at the same time, you know?
He's like Wolverine.
Yeah. He's great. And he was telling me a story recently about how he was at a bachelor party This is true. I don't even know if he wants to reveal in this, but I'm doing it anyway. I might have. This is where I've severed the cord of him and our Patreon.
No longer a patron.
No longer a patron.
I told you this in confidence.
Years we've been friends. He was at a bachelor party and then they got kicked out of I believe it was a strip club before they thought they were soliciting prostitution there. And
legalize it.
And I would believe. I mean, and to be frank, Andrew, if I saw you and I heard that, I would be like, yeah, probably. I mean, look at the guy, right?
This guy loves prostitution.
This looks like the kind of guy who would, right?
Just get you a leather jacket.
Andrew gets it. He'll still stick around.
You could be a
This is
crooked
the challenge.
70s
This is the
cop.
challenge to see if he still sticks around.
is the
Gold
patron
chain,
challenge.
and a red leather jacket.
How loyal are you?
Patron roast of the day.
Roast apocalypse. How do you survive, Andrew?
And then a friend of theirs, they went home on a scooter, like an electric scooter, and they lost the scooter and their phone on the way home, and they didn't know how to get home for a while. So
and then the prostitutes all showed up and helped.
Yes.
Gave them a lift.
They all pushed a scooter.
They all ironically leaned out the window themselves and said, "Hey, do you need a ride?"
More sexual services. We're also a towing
We're
company.
AAA. Yeah, if you subscribe, we'll get you out of a jam. It's all right. Get a new battery, get a new tire.
Andrew, you don't need to go down that path. But if you do, there's nothing wrong with it. But you don't need to do it. You can get a woman all on your own. I believe in you, Andrew.
I mean, if
Do
it's
it.
Wolverine, then
yeah, you can cut some women up if you want. Slash.
That's even better than love.
Yeah, and if they stick around with you, then you know you got real love. Ain't that right, Ace?
That's right.
Real love, baby.
Hey, you sick bastard. I was making a joke.
Wow.
Don't you have a woman on your channel?
Squad
How would
leader,
you
Ace.
respect women?
How would she feel if she heard you say yes and to that?
Well, Sabrina, would you come in here, please? We got Sabrina in the
we have
studio.
Sabrina here. We had a big surprise for you, Ace.
Caught in the act, Ace.
We're here to get you canceled today.
There's hidden cameras everywhere. Ashton Kutcher, come on out.
Ashton Kutcher, he's still alive.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Yeah, he invests in big tech now. Like Andrew could someday after he
Oh,
gets
yeah,
out of
this
jail
is
for
a
the
shout out.
prostitution.
This is the longest non-shout out we've ever done. Thanks, Andrew.
Woo.